members, Miss Heidi here, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we'll be making Taylor Swift's recipe for chai sugar cookies from Joy the Baker. So for this recipe, we're going to need a couple ingredients. So we'll need 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter, and we're going to need that at room temperature. We're also going to need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 1½ teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, a pinch of cracked black pepper, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 cups of flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and cinnamon and sugar. And for the glaze, we're going to need 1½ cups of powdered sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg plus a little extra, and 3 tablespoons of eggnog or whole milk. So let's get started. So first we're going to take our large bowl here and we're going to add in our butter. So we want to add 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter. And you want that to be at room temperature. If it's not at room temperature, then you can pop it in the microwave for just about 10 to 15 seconds until it's nice and mushy. And go ahead and mix that a little bit. Mix, mix, mix. All right, and then we're going to add in our vegetable oil. So we want to add in 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Now, and mix that together as well. And you want to mix this until it's all combined. So that looks pretty combined. So next we're going to add in our sugars and our spices. So we're going to start with just our granulated sugar, and we're going to add in 1/2 cup. There's 1/4 and 2/4 makes 1/2 cup. And next we're going to add in our powdered sugar. So the same amount of powdered sugar at 1/2 cup. One quarter. And 2/4 makes 1/2 cup. And you can go ahead and mix that in. There we go. And now we're going to add in our spices. So we have a few spices to add in. And we're going to start with our ginger. And for our ginger, we're going to add 1½ teaspoons. There's 1. and 1/4, and 2/4 makes a half. And our next spice is going to be our cinnamon. So we want 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. One teaspoon of cinnamon. And next our allspice. So a half a teaspoon of allspice. There's 1/4 and 2/4 makes a half. And next we're going to add in our nutmeg. So we want a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, 1/4. And our cardamom. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. There's a 1/4 teaspoon. And our cloves. So we need 1/8 teaspoon of cloves. Our ground cloves. Here, 1/8 teaspoon. And lastly, we need a pinch of cracked black pepper. If you need an exact measurement, I would say about a half of an eighth of a teaspoon. So just a little bit. Go. And go ahead and mix that up. All of our spices. While you're mixing, you can take a smell. See if you can smell all the different spices in there. And make sure it's all combined in there. Go. And next we're going to add in our egg. So we want to add in 1 egg. So go ahead and crack your egg inside. And our vanilla. So we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of our vanilla extract. Here's 1. And 2. And go ahead and mix that up as well. Make sure you get all of the ingredients from the side mixed in as well. There we go. And now we're going to add in our flour. So we're going to add in 2 cups of flour. There's 1. And 2. And next we're going to add in our baking soda. So 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So 1/4. 2/4. And 3. And we're going to add in our salt. So we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So 1/4 and 2/4 makes 1/2. And then we're going to mix that all together. Mix. And keep mixing until it's all combined. Make sure you get all the sides and all of the flour on the bottom. Together. And if you hold it up close, you can see all of those spices in your mix. And your dough is going to be soft right now, but we're going to put it in either the refrigerator or the freezer for a little while just so it's easier to handle. So we're going to put it in the refrigerator for 1 hour, or to speed it up a little bit, you can put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. So next, to prepare for our cookies while they're in the freezer or the refrigerator, we're going to make some cinnamon and sugar. So we're going to need to add in some sugar with some cinnamon, and depending on how cinnamony you like your cinnamon sugar to be, you can change up the ratio if you'd like. I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Go. And 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Add that in. And mix it together. If you're not such a big fan of a cinnamon taste, you can also add a little bit more sugar. you can change the ratio to half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Just make sure it's all nice and mixed together. And there you go. And now we can go ahead and take our cookie mix out of our freezer or our refrigerator and start making our cookies. So here is my cookie mix, and you can see it's gotten a lot easier to handle, a lot less liquidy. That's the texture that you want. So you can move this and get set up for your cookies. And you're also going to need a cookie sheet that has parchment paper. All right, so once you're all set up, you can start scooping your cookies. And for larger cookies, you can use 2 tablespoons of your mix. For smaller cookies, you can use 1 tablespoon. So what you're going to do is take your cookie dough amount like this, and you're going to plop it down onto your baking sheet. Like this over a little. Go. And you're going to push it down. You can use your fingers or a spoon. This one has a little bit of cinnamon on it. Like that. And once it's pressed down a little bit, you want it to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. Then you're going to take it and roll it in your cinnamon and sugar mixture that we just created. Just mix together. That. Just toss it. And go ahead and put it on your cookie sheet and make the rest of your cookies. And you want to make sure that you keep them a couple inches apart, about 2 inches apart on your baking sheet, because they will expand a little bit. So go ahead and make the rest of your cookies. So here are my cookies. I used about half of the dough so far. And now you're going to bake these in the oven. So you want to heat your oven to 350 degrees. And if you have larger cookies, then you want to bake them for 12 to 14 minutes. If they're smaller cookies, you want to bake them for 8 to 10 minutes. After baking your cookies, you're going to want to take them out of the oven with permission and supervision. And you're going to want to let them sit for 10 minutes to cool down before you remove them from your baking sheet. And then you're going to want to let them cool completely before you add your glaze. But while you wait for them to cool, you can mix up your glaze. So to make your glaze, you're going to need just 3 ingredients. You're going to need 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And you're going to mix this in a bowl. So there's 1 cup. 1/4 and 2/4 makes a half. And next you're going to add in some nutmeg. So you want to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay. And next you're going to add in your eggnog. So you're going to add in 3 tablespoons of eggnog. If you're not really a fan of eggnog, you can also use whole milk instead. 1, 2, and 3 tablespoons. Go. And go ahead and mix that up. So you get all of the powdered sugar from the sides and mix in all of the nutmeg. Mix. And there you go. And you're going to want a thick glaze like this, but it's still spreadable on your cookie. So this is the texture that you want. And go ahead and wait for your cookies to cool before you add your glaze on top. Once your cookies have completely cooled, you can add your glaze on top. So take a scoop, make sure it's nice and mixed, and add it into the center of your cookie, and just let it slowly drip to the rest of your cookie. And it'll start to spread on its own. And optionally, if you would like, once your glaze has spread a little bit more over your cookies, you can add a little extra nutmeg on top just to give it a little extra flavor. My glaze has spread a little bit more, so I'm just going to add a little bit of my nutmeg on top of my cookies. A little sprinkle. And there you go. There's my cookies up close with that glaze. And that is the recipe for Taylor Swift's Chai Sugar Cookies from Joy the Baker. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and try it out yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye!